Hey everyone, welcome to day 8 of the Spark Change Challenge. And for today's domain, we have the final S in Sparks, which is all about spontaneity and entertainment. And this is the one that I like to think of as the stuff that made you giggle when you were 4. How much of that are you doing now? I mean, maybe not that specifically, but that feeling of unbridled joy that has no option but to bubble up out of you in a giggle. When was the last time you engaged that part of your brain, that part of yourself, in something that was purely just for spontaneity, for fun? And so I thought I would share a couple of the ways that I've been engaging the spontaneity and entertainment arm of self-care, and see if any of these spark an interest in you. Yesterday's video got a little bit on the serious side, so today's is quite rightly on theme to be just about injecting some more fun, not in ways that necessarily are going to take, like all of these, not in ways that is going to necessarily take a lot of extra time or a lot of extra planning, but just little things that you can inject into your day. So, for example, Winston is being spontaneous right now. But okay, we'll let him have his fun. Um, well, actually, Winston was one of the things. Well, Winston and Rory were one of the things that I kind of leaned into the spontaneity today. So I had a lunch break because I'm taking lunch breaks now as part of my ongoing self care challenge. That's been quite good. I quite like that, and I'm actually noticing now it's only been a week, but I'm starting to get hungry at lunchtime, whereas previously I would forget to eat and I wouldn't even realize I was hungry. And it would be 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and I'd suddenly realize, oh, I'm starving because I haven't had anything to eat in a day. um, so having my lunch break, and I was doing some Facebook checking while I was having my lunch break. But I was okay with doing that because I was just going through and checking the different profiles and groups that I run, making sure everything was okay in there. And Rory came to sit beside me, and she curled up. Then she got up, curled up into my lap, and put her little face sort of like on my belly. So she was sort of looking up at me, and I saw her looking up at me with the big brown eyes, and I just sort of thought, oh, what am I doing? I can check Facebook later. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy patting Rory for the next 5 minutes till it's time to go back to work, because I think that will be better for both of us. And the second I put the phone down, her little tail started wagging like crazy. So she knows as well. She knows where that attention is and where that focus was. And even that was so rewarding to see that I've made her happy in doing this. And such a simple, small thing. And nothing blew up in any of the groups in the couple of hours that I didn't check it. So I think it was well worth that spontaneous diversion into just focusing on connection. So that was one of my little spontaneous moments. Another one was Matt and I are working in the same office. My husband Matt and I are working in the same office now for the first time in, I don't know, actually probably since COVID. Like the same days on the same off in the same office, and had a break at the same time. So we also decided to get out the Yahtzee set and the new dice set and have a quick game. And I got a Yahtzee. I got a Yahtzee on fours, and four was my favorite number when I was a kid. And something about getting a Yahtzee on my lunch break, I don't know, that was I can kind of feel it now. That grin, that was my 4-year old grin. That was the little kid in me kind of going, yay, I won. And it was really fun. It was, 5 minutes, maybe it was 10 minutes, I don't know. We've got the little dice set up now and ready to go, so we can be spontaneous about it, and it's brilliant. Very simple, very easy, but it was quite fun. And yes, there's the grin. This is, yeah, I can feel that 4-year old grin coming out. Um, The other one we did was actually over the weekend, and this is bizarre. This is, before I say this, I am well aware of how weird this is and sounds, but there you go. There's the 4-year-old again. Um, so when I was a kid, when I was about 4 or 5, my nan had this movie on VHS that she had recorded from the TV, and it was called Snow White and the Three Stooges. I do not know why. I do not know why. I still to this day do not understand why there was a movie created with Snow White and the Three Stooges. They're not replacing the dwarfs or anything like that. The dwarfs are I mentioned too. They're not like, instead of dwarfs we're having stooges. It was no like in, we're also having the Three Stooges. Um, well, two stooges and one who was a ringer apparently. Uh, and just in case that's not kind of weird or bizarre enough, it's an ice skating musical about Snow White and the Three Stooges. And yeah, the Stooges do get on ice skates at one point. So do not know what on earth made me think about this. Honestly, I haven't watched it in, God, probably coming up on like 40 years. And somehow or other, maybe it's all of this self-care stuff and focusing on spontaneity and entertainment and getting in touch with that inner child part and all the rest of it. But I suddenly went, did I make that up? Did I dream this? Or was there a movie called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs that was on ice? And I Googled, and it was a real movie, and it was from 1961. And it was on Google to download, so I downloaded it. And then I had to explain to my husband why we were going to watch something called Snow White and the Three Stooges. Oh my God, so bad, so stupid, and so bad. But I was delighted. I'm still delighted when I think about it now. And again, I'm not saying you should go out and download Snow White and the Three Stooges, although honestly, you could do worse. But that was something that was I used to watch all the time when I was a kid, and obviously is still very 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 closely connected to that inner child part, because I was cacking myself, but I also did just kind of enjoy it. Um, and there were some parts that I was just like, wow, I did not understand what was going on there. Um, so revisit some childhood movies. We did Drop Dead Fred not that long ago. I hadn't watched that in 30 years or something as well. And wow, I can still quote most of that movie. Reconnect with the things that used to bring you joy as a child and see what that feels like. There's a really interesting, there's been a couple of studies actually on music and the way that our brains process new music in particular, that says that generally by the age of around 35, your taste for music has sort of matured and becomes a little bit rigid. I don't think that's the case. Well, it doesn't have to be the case. Download a Spotify playlist of music that you've never listened to before and listen to it, or download a Spotify playlist of stuff from when you were, 15, 16, 17 years old, because that'll definitely get you dancing, get you moving, get you singing along. Um, Not that long ago, I came across the song Moni Moni, and wow, I remembered all the words for that. And I had not heard that in 30 something years for sure. But I remembered all the words, and I sang around the bedroom getting ready in the morning, and it was the best start to the day I've had in a long time. So again, thinking about ways, I mean, I'd still be brushing my teeth and getting dressed and all of that kind of stuff. I just do it now with a bit of a soundtrack. And I've got my morning mix playlist, and it's full of songs that just make me feel happy, that engage that inner child part, and give me a little bit of a lift in the morning. It's super simple. Um, think about, if you have your own kids, have you introduced them to your favorite movies? Have you watched, when's the last time, you watched The Goonies? Or I'm really aging myself quite a lot in this in this live stream. Um, but what can you do to access that inner child, and how often can you let it run free and enjoy itself? Because the payoff is pretty excellent. Um, then of course, you've got all of the standard, spontaneity and entertainment things, like, trying a new hobby or a new activity, or driving a different way to work, or surprising a friend or a partner with a picnic, or you've got the ones that do take a little bit more effort. But like I said, especially for our first run through the domains, I really wanted to concentrate on just simple things you can do consciously to prioritize self-care, but in a really sustainable way. And hopefully, this has given you a couple of more ideas of what that could look like for you. I would love to hear what your inner child inner child's favorite movies are. If anyone else has seen Snow White and the Three Stooges, please let me know, because it's, in some ways, it does feel like a little bit of a fever dream. But were you into Drop Dead Fred? Were you into Star Wars? Were you into, like, what was your go-to movie, and when's the last time you watched it? All right, that is it from me for today. I will see you all in here tomorrow when we come back around to the first S in Sparks, which is safety and boundaries. And again, we've gone through all the domains once. So on our second go around through all of the domains, we're going to go a little bit deeper into what that can look like in practice, still with the emphasis on doing this in sustainable ways, but maybe looking at a bit more, what's something that you could add into your self-care practice in each of those domains. All right. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.